every single prefecture in Japan has seen a drop in population this year, and that's not a sign of good things necessarily.
Wow.
Hello and welcome to the Abroad Japan podcast. How you doing, guys? I'm your host Chris Broad, but joined as always by the man in the UK,
the man
whose name
I'm
is
here.
Pete. He loves Japan.
Hello.
And he's here to tell you
Hello.
about his life. How you doing, Pete? What's going on?
I'm good. I very much enjoyed. You are very good at remembering the exact same intro, outro, interbreak, outer break that we do every single show. But for some reason, you just lost your goddamn mind this morning. You can't remember
I've got heat
it.
stroke because I came in the studio, right? It was 30 degrees Celsius. And I put the aircon on a few minutes ago, but it's just like an oven. And I've noticed doing filming outside, if I get really hot, my brain's just like, and it just doesn't compute.
Yeah,
I cannot think.
Do you not kind of like? Do you wear sunscreen in Japan? Is that something that you get involved in?
You just don't go outside in summer. You just don't go in. Just stay out. Just don't go indoors. Don't go outdoors at all.
Just don't go outdoors. Yeah, just don't spend any time outdoors.
Required.
Interesting.
But I mean, it's cloudy as fuck anyway, right? It's cloudy right now, and it's still somehow hotter than the inside of a British oven during a Sunday roast, and it's like, I'm going to say right now, this is the last time I'm going to be in Japan in July, in August. It's usually I escape, right? I flee to some magical corner of the earth. Last year it was London. It wasn't so good, I've had to be here for the bar launch, right? Any other occasion, I would have fucked off anywhere, and I am not doing this again, because both Charlotte and I feel like 8 weeks just up in smoke, because I can't film anything, can't have fun, really. It's just all, and I can't believe people come here. I know, like, summer holidays, you don't have many options, unfortunately, to go on holiday for many people, but I don't recommend Japan in summer, because it's just not fun, man. Like, going outside for like 5 minutes, getting heat stroke, having a shot like Pocari Sweat en masse all day, every day. That's just Pocari Sweat sales must like fucking really go up in August.
Oh, they must absolutely. If you and once you get on that Pocari Sweat train, it's like me and my energy drinks. You can't ever stop. You're like, well, I need the electrolytes now. I've become the electrolyte man. A concept I was unaware of before. I now need lots of electrolytes and salt. I need Pocari Sweat, for crying out loud. Yeah. So it's and they've also got like Pocari Sweat for dogs. I've noticed. There's like dog water you can buy in. There's Pocari Sweat for dogs. There's like kind of off-brand Pocari Sweat where people have made like a blue sort of cloudy white drink that's exactly the bloody same. I don't know how they get away with it, but the Pepsi to Pocari Sweat's Coke, and there's just so many different options for getting electrolytes in your body. It's good stuff.
And there's we've got Aquarius here, which is owned by Coke.
Aquarius.
It's not as good.
Right.
There's a clear dividing line between Aquarius followers and Pocari Sweat followers. Pocari Sweat is slightly saltier and tastes more like it has medicinal value in getting those electrolytes back. Aquarius feels more like a soft drink.
Generic.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Is it sweeter? Aquarius.
It is a bit sweeter, yeah, it's sweeter. But both are pretty calorific. I remember I only discovered last year I was, drinking Pocari Sweat all day, every day. I think I was having like 3 bottles a day at one point. And then somebody pointed out, those calories in that. I was like, bollocks. And I looked at it and it was like 120 calories a bottle or something. And I was like,
I could see that.
What? Have I been sticking myself full of sugar? No wonder I was having like pre-diabetes symptoms all fucking season. Drinking sugar and salt 8 times a day. What an idiot. Anyway, we got a story this week from Gurgely, from Hungary. Gurgely?
Ooh, I have never heard that. Gurgely from Hungary. So I guess that's a slightly different sort of tone of name, I suppose. But wow, Gurgely, I've never heard that name before in my life.
And it begins. Hello, gents. I was on my 3rd trip to Japan in 2017. It was an early afternoon, and we were on our final day of our business trip. After a week of intense meetings with our Japanese partners, my colleague and I were killing time in the hotel lobby in Asakusa. Dead tired and with nothing to do, we decided to leave early and do some last-minute souvenir shopping at the airport. Upon arriving at Narita Airport, we were greeted by an eerily quiet airport lounge. Most of the shops were already closed, and only a few of the cleaning staff were moving around. Odd, we thought. While my co-worker went to the restroom, I fished out our documents, ready to check in. Suddenly, I got an icy feeling all over. Our tickets quite clearly had the name Haneda Airport written on the tickets. We were at the wrong bloody airport. Terrified, I ran into the restroom and let my colleague know how much we'd screwed up. With haste, we tried to plan our way to Haneda, but given the limited time frame, it was doubtful that we would make it on time. We realised we needed the famously punctual Japanese train system to be a few minutes late to make a crucial connection from the Narita Express to a local train, as both were scheduled to arrive at the airport simultaneously. The whole way from Narita, we kept thinking, we're not going to make it, yet for some unknown reason, we made the airport express and arrived in Haneda with just 10 minutes to spare. I cannot describe the relief we felt when we rushed up at the still open check-in counter, albeit with some stomachs the size of a peanut and now drenched in sweat. Keep up the good work. Gergely from Hungary, who very luckily made it, even though, it's a 2-hour journey between Narita and Haneda. That's a fair distance to go. So, just last week, Pete, we were talking about how early to get to the airport for an international flight. You said, I don't like getting there early. Fucking rubbish, mate. I was like, I like to get there 3 hours early.
Right. What is that accent? Sorry, I have to stop the show.
This is an accent
emergency.
I can't do a silly Newcastle Sunderland voice.
I'm getting to airport to eat gravy. Too early.
all of North England sounds like that to me.
Outrageous.
But he got lucky. Yeah, got there early, and he got rewarded for it. So get to the airport 3 hours early, because if you realise you're at the wrong fucking airport, you've bought yourself some time to get there.
That's true.
I've never done that. I did make a trip to Taiwan once. I was going to meet Nick and Jackie, good friends of ours. It's been a while since Jackie was on abroad in Japan, but I was going to meet them in Taiwan, and I got through departures. I was sitting waiting for the plane, and the airport staff came over and were like, your passport is renewed in 3 months, which means Taiwan probably won't let you in, so we can't let you fly. And I was like, you what, mate? And they had to lead me all the way back through customs, departures, passport control, and throw me out the airport. And it was very humiliating, very embarrassing. And Nick and Jackie were like, Chris, Daijobu? And I was like, yeah, I can't come to Taiwan. Sorry about that.
I've been kicked out of Taiwan. Won't let me in, for crying out loud.
It's pretty depressing.
I like to think that when they threw you out of the airport, they went like this. They kicked you
filth
on your bum
British
and went,
filth.
I'm taking out the airport trash.
It was just like that. They were very nice. They're very nice about it. And I looked like a dickhead. It was kind of awkward because all the people about to, the passengers were sitting around me about to board the flight, and they looked at me being escorted away like I was, going to do some unsavoury activity on the plane. It was very sketchy,
Plane pervert. He does unspeakable things. He does a one-man Mile High Club. It's disgusting.
It was awful. And I lost my money, so I didn't get the flight and didn't get my money back. And very depressing. Very depressing indeed.
Well, how could this have been avoided, Chris?
Check your bloody passport. Expiration
Check
date,
your bloody passport. For crying out loud.
Don't pay the price
3-month rule seems to be more important. I think EU. When we left the EU, because we're absolute mega minds here in the UK. I think they've got a 6-month rule, which is bloody annoying. And I keep on sort of working up in the middle of the night in a start, going, I haven't got 6 months on my passport, but I have. Obviously, it runs for 10 years. But have you? I know people who remember their passport number, and it's more useful than you think. They remember their passport number, and they remember their passport dates as well, like how long it's valid for. And I think that's actually a bit of a touch. If you want to sound cool at an airport, memorise your number.
No.
But don't be like me and second guess yourself.
I'm not Matt Damon from fucking Born Ultimatum, like a spy memorising all the codes. No, I don't know my passport number. It begins with a 3 or something. I don't know. Does that narrow it down?
Brilliant.
I'll say that
does narrow it down. Yeah. Well, what you don't get all of your your identity stolen with thrown out numbers, thrown out one number of your passport. Wow.
Well, I've got a number for you, Pete. 21 years. 21 years. That is the number of years a Japanese man has saved for an early retirement because he has eaten like a bowl of rice for 21 years. It's quite interesting. This is a really interesting story, right? There's a guy in Japan, and he wanted to retire early, and rather than try and make more money, he tried to save what he was already making. He was making about the average salary, maybe slightly above average salary by Japan standards. Fill us in, Pete, though. How did he do it, and how has he now retired with his wealth?
Well, there's a movement, the FIRE movement, the Financial Independence Retire Early movement, which is about saving and investing aggressively to be able to retire.
Sounds like you're about to sell us a program. The Pete Donaldson Save Your Fucking Money.
I am doing a talk at the airport in one of the rooms there. And I have got some delicious timeshare I would very much like you to get involved with. So apparently there's this movement who are basically saying, look, work bloody hard, save, scrimp, have a miserable life for 30 years, and then you can retire early and spend the rest of your days just having a lovely time. But a 45-year-old man decided to embark on this thrifty journey in the early 2000s after landing a rather demanding job that required extra hours, including late nights. His company told him that hard work and overtime were the keys to the future happiness of him, and he earned about 5 million yen a year, $44,000. And he basically crafted a bit of a plan to get together, effectively crack on for $1 million, right, as quickly as possible.
100 million yen.
For 20 years, he lived in a company dormitory, paying just $255 a month for rent, and basically just scouring the streets for used appliances and furniture. His meals were gopping. His meals were gross. Dinner might be a sour plum, which we don't talk about enough on the Abroad Bad podcast, how ubiquitous the common sour plum is in Japanese food. But yeah, he
apart from drinks, it's good in drinks.
You're right. But sour plums, they are nice, but they're not, let's have this for dinner nice. Dinner might be a sour plum, some salted vegetables, and a bowl of rice. And in addition to very bland and basic meals, he skipped air conditioning and heating, opting instead to cool down with a wet t-shirt in the summer and warm up by doing squats in the winter. And his dedication has paid off this year when he revealed that he's saved 135 million yen, wow. $1.18 million after nearly 21 years with the company. He did recently reveal, though, that his savings had significantly diminished due to the yen's depreciation since the start of the year. Oh, mate, what are you doing?
It's fine though, right? If you're in Japan, the cost of living's pretty decent generally.
Yeah, but he's getting kicked out of the company dormitory because he's left. Get out of the company dormitory! For crying out loud! Yeah, he's taken a picture of his big racks of money to sort of say, "Hey, look, I've still got this," and you're sort of going, "Well, I hope you keep that safe. I hope that's in a bank, for crying out loud." But there's no information about his general health. These kind of stories are always like, it wasn't the man who not invented, but sort of in the 70s, he was a famous jogger who basically told everyone the key to happiness and eternal life was jogging around the place. And then I think he had a heart attack. And I think unfit people like me go, ha, that'll teach you for trying stuff and eating right and living right. But I do worry that what if he falls foul of a disease or something in his 40s. He is going to be fucking livid that he's not lived his life.
Well, that's the problem.
What you need to be doing is just find yourself destitute in your 40s like me.
All right, Mr. Bosnian holiday every week. I'm off to
buy a load of automatones. Buy a load of crap to use as a background in your videos, and you just have a nice time and leave a good-looking corpse.
Sitting there in your shack of treasures.
In my shack.
Like a magpie who's collected too much rubbish. I will say...
Greg Valentine's bird blood.
This is awful. This is disgraceful.
It was a prop we made for a wrestling show. Greg Valentine is a beloved 80s wrestler, and he's not a handsome man, but I don't know why we did bird blood, but I'm sure there's a reason for it.
You are such a hoarder. A hoarder who hasn't realised they're a hoarder yet, like most hoarders.
No.
It's the problem with this, though, isn't there? If something goes wrong, before you reach your goal, you've just wasted a lot of your life. I often think about this myself. Like, I probably work too much doing stuff. I'm always scripting, filming, editing, running around like an idiot. And I'm lucky that I get to travel and do things as well. But the problem I have with this, though, is if you're focus so much on the future, this like future point. If something goes wrong before you get there, then it's all for nothing. And I think it's the right balance, isn't it, to try and get the sort of enjoy the moment, work hard, enjoy the moment, but also have something to look forward to when you're a bit older and a bit more frail, shall we say. Like, I like the idea of like retiring at 45 and then working at like a coffee shop on Tuesdays, a nice little village coffee shop, making coffee, chatting to the locals, having my coffee, and then just going home and reading a book. And that's the future of abroad in Japan.
My dream life is basically your mate PewDiePie's life. Just retire, like semi-retire at like 40, or semi-retire at mid-30s after becoming a multi-millionaire. I'm very much like there are similarities between the working classes and the aristocracy. And although I'm not necessarily working class now, but I'm certainly from a working class background, and we do live our lives like aristocrats, hedonistic, binge drinking, cash poor psychopaths, and I'm very much of that vintage. So I'm I'm not going to retire. I'll be doing this shit for years.
Yeah, but you like working. I think that's one thing we have in common.
I like working.
We like working. I think I'd never retire because I enjoy producing videos too much. You know, I might just spend less time making videos or more time working on one video at a time. I don't know. Yeah. I love working and building things. I sort of live to work, I guess, to some extent. My friend, like Dave, our editor, he does stuff. He lives to go to music concerts every Saturday for obscure bands that I've never heard of. And that's lovely and wonderful. And he works to live. I live to work, and I think it's a key differentiating factor. People are different, right? We all have different motivations, different goals in life. And I think once you work out,
can't take it with you, can you?
Yeah. Well, I can take your podcast collection with you when you die. I'll throw
that's my body of work.
Podcast logo in your coffin, and off you go.
Yeah.
And
ashes to ashes.
Your automatones.
Dick jokes to dick jokes. See you later.
Your automatones will be inflamed with you in the coffin. Let's make it happen.
I'll take it.
What a grim thought. We're back to guys with stories, comments and questions over in the fax machine.
Wow.
And we're back with the fax machine. What have we got this week from our listeners, Mr. Dawson? Fill us in.
We got a message from Gio Ginelli. Hello, captivating Chris and praiseworthy Pete. After travelling to Japan a couple of years ago with my partner, we've been itching to return. Could be a burrowing insect that joined your body out there. We decided our next visit would be through a cherry blossom season in March or April of 2025 and working on an itinerary. We've been together for 7 years now, and I'm planning to propose. Could you suggest some good places for Sakura viewing spots? Is there a particular spot that you think is particularly romantic and would be best for a proposal? And have you personally seen such a thing happen? Oh, I don't know what it is about like public proposals. I would stress out that it wasn't going to go very well.
Well, I mean, mine was kind of public. It was on the beach by Durdle Door, but luckily it was a very windy, very unpleasant day, and I think there was just one dog running up and down.
Said, "Will you marry me?"
It was good. Nobody got in my way. Nobody got in my way. If I was going to propose a cherry blossom place, it would be somewhere like Shibata in Sendai, just south of Sendai. There's like hundreds of cherry blossoms along a river. There's a hill you can stand on overlooking it all. Yeah, Shibata. And it's like the best cherry blossom spot in North Japan. I think I made a video there 8 years ago. So look that up. It's called Japan's Most Fun Festival. So it's got Japan's biggest festival, I think it's called. Japan's biggest annual festival, cherry blossom season. So check that out and go there.
If you are sort of stuck in Tokyo and your movements are kind of dictated by an itinerary, I mean, people would sort of think, oh well, Shinjuku Goen is not a great one, but they do have quite a lot of cherry blossom, and also it's quite big, and if you get up at like 7 in the morning to do it, there aren't going to be as many people kicking around, so it's probably worth getting there when the gates open at the park, and you could probably do it there if your itinerary dictates that you have to be in Tokyo. So it's not Ueno Park, but I think Shinjuku Goen's just got a lot more cherry blossom trees, and it's way more.
Too busy though. That would be so crowded.
It is too busy. Yeah, but like,
be able to hear like, "Will you marry me?" It's so fucking loud. Just be a crowd of people. You won't hear it. She'll be like, no, I can't know what you're saying. I can't hear what you're saying, Gio.
No, you made a terrible choice for the park. It sucks. I'm leaving you.
Should have gone to Shibata.
Gio.
Dalton from Ohio says, hello, Chris and Pete. How has the recent Japan economic crash affected the general mood in Japan itself? I know it hasn't been positive because of the yen being rubbish. Are things full doom and gloom now? Does anybody have any hope for their future in Japan? Curious to hear your thoughts. Thank you very much. Dalton from Ohio. I'm kind of tackling this in an upcoming video, actually, about the economy and the yen. The short answer is, it depends where you are in Japan. If you're Natsuki, yes, you worry. But I will say, because the countryside's absolutely buggered, unfortunately. Every single prefecture in Japan has seen a drop in population this year, and that's not a sign of good things, necessarily. I will say that Tokyo, Sendai, big cities in Japan have never looked better. They've never felt more accessible, more modern. Yeah. Brilliant. Love it. Yeah. And the populations in cities are still growing because people move from the countryside to here. It's like a big vacuum, Tokyo, right? Hoovering up all the people. But, yeah, countryside, not so great. Wages, pretty stagnant. The yen, absolutely rubbish and worthless, meaning people can't travel to places like Hawaii or Europe or America if they're Japanese so easily. So, yeah, I'd say economic outlook is not great, and people aren't overly positive about it. But I will still say it's better than the UK. People are more grateful and more happy in Japan than we are in the UK overall, which is good, I guess, for Japan. Maybe that's a statement on the UK more than everything. I don't know. I'll never forget when I did my book signing. I spoke to 100 people, and I asked them, where are you from? And they were like, Wolverhampton, Oxford, Leeds. And I was like, what's it like? Any good? And they're like, no, it's shit. And the only place that was good that they said, yeah, it was great, was Shropshire. I don't know what goes on in Shropshire. Apart from a hill that looks nice. It does look nice, to be fair. Yeah. But I wonder if it's the same in America. If you're like, where are you from? Like, I'm from Chicago, I'm from New York. Well, would they be like, it's great, you know? Do Americans like where they're from? I know in the UK, though, I've never met anyone who's like, I love my town, it's good, you know? We're all very negative about where we're from, aren't we? In a sort of self-deprecating manner. Whereas in Japan, people are very proud where they're from. People like where they're from. They have like a close affinity for it. It's very rare to meet someone who's not proud of their hometown, even if it's somewhere that's not great, like Saitama or whatever. You know, people are like, it's a magical place of wonder and excitement. So, yeah. So people in Japan are generally a bit more positive than the British people, I'd say. But,
yeah, I've always being a big fan of cities and stuff. I know that I sort of spent a lot of time in probably one of the best cities in the world, London. It just is.
It is good,
so I'm really proud
good.
of. I'm really proud. But
well, you didn't build it. You don't fucking own it. What have you got to be proud of?
Yeah, I know. I'm just proud that of all the people who live there that made my time there so much fun.
Is that how you feel about the north as well? For Hartlepool?
That's a bit.
Are you proud?
Yeah. Yeah, that's all right. Hartlepool's all right.
So people came to my book signing, and they were from Hartlepool, and I said, "Is it good?" They went, "Nah, it's awful. Don't go." Cancelled my trip, my whirlwind trip to Hartlepool was cancelled.
I might do a video in your hometown, and you can do a video in my hometown and review it.
Don't let me go to Hartlepool, please. No. And I won't make you go to Maidstone. Keep the stories, questions, comments coming in to abroadjapanpodcast@gmail.com, guys, or comment down below on the YouTube. But for now, have yourself a great few days. Swing by the Abroad Japan Lost Bar. I can't call it the Abroad Japan Bar. It's called Lost Bar because it's co-owned Charlotte and I, of course. And come and see me in the corner. Have a drink. Let's do it in Tokyo right now. But for now, have yourselves a good one. See you later in the week. Bye for now.